What's up guys, my name's Dichronic, your host on this Destiny video. Today's video I'm going to be talking about the new DLC, the Dark Below, as well as the House of Wolves, and new information that's been around it, just a bunch of different things and stuff we've already learned. So if you guys remember from the beta, or from anything, if you go all the way to the left, there's a bunch of really high level enemies just past this boat area called the Grotto. This is where the area where there's a bunch of level 20 enemies, and in the beta we had no idea why. We thought it was maybe just a random area, but in the full game, we understand now that this is just an idea for a DLC. So you can obviously tell that they had this DLC planned since the beta. Maybe even the alpha. I didn't play the alpha to confirm that, but this was probably even in the alpha. So to have the DLC planned all the way this distance is kind of nerve-wracking. I do not like the idea that the DLC was actually contained in this little area here, because that means that they had it and they just decided to not have it. Now, the story is obviously very lacking in Destiny if you've ever actually really listened to it, and that was a really disappointing part. But if you do look down here, there's a bunch of things that are very reminiscent of the thing on their site. So recently, Bungie patched or added a DLC section to the website and saying, on December 9th, you can have the DLC 1, and there's some epic images and pretty cool things. One of the images was of this canister over here. This is the thing that these guys are actually defending. There's two wizards in this area. Everybody down here is level 20, and there's just like big coffins that look like they're battery powering this big canister thing. I'm not sure what is inside of it. Maybe there's another sword of Crota, or maybe there's some type of spiritual energy, but either way, there's this big canister, and it's something that they're protecting. I'm not sure why they allowed us to just have this in the main game, and why there's even enemies here when there's not actually the DLC release. I think they should have played a little bit smarter and actually not had these enemies here and just release this when the DLC released. And if you had the DLC, it would have made it a lot better. But from this, we can tell that this is where the DLC is going to be coming from, and one of the pictures they released on their site was of this canister. So that just tells us this is exactly where one of the missions is, if not the strike or maybe even the raid. I'm not too sure, but this is one of the places where it is. You can tell also in a bunch of different areas that there's going to be those like level 18 guys that are just randomly there for no reason. Those are definitely part of the DLC. If you guys didn't know, if you continue along the route through this area, you'll arrive at this location where the Devil's Lair strike mission is. Now, if you guys do remember, there's also something very similar to this on Venus. You head to the left and you stay on this path that I am, take a right here, and you just continue along until you get to the main area where these big buildings are, and you get up on top of this area. There's going to be a couple of minotaurs, about like 3 yellow health minotaurs up here. You have to kill them. I almost died from this fight right before I got my my bounty, but this is actually a really cool area because you can actually see the space elevator here. Now, if you guys don't know, you haven't seen this area, this is actually a really cool area and has been also talked about how being it should be the DLCs for the House of Wolves, as well as maybe a raid that's going to happen on Venus, or an extra raid, or maybe an extra strike that's going to happen on Venus. But if you continue your way through this area, one thing I did notice is the shadows are really cool. I love how you come around a corner and you just see your shadow coming around the wall. That's just something I really like. If you didn't see that, go watch that in the video game. I just wanted to say that because it is really cool. So if you continue along, kill through the enemies, and actually fight your way through here, there's actually above level 20 enemies here, which is really cool, and this space elevator just looks so cool. Now, we think it's a space elevator. It's not actually going to space, but that's just what I call it because it goes up into the sky, and it definitely looks like something that would be an elevator. Now, if you kill off all these guys here, you can actually go up to it, but you can't actually get into the area. You can't go through the barrier, but this is definitely a reminiscent of something that would be a DLC. So again, they planned all the way to the point of planning for the second DLC before even releasing the game, and that's kind of unnerving, but we do know that this is basically the same idea as the previous one. We have confirmed images of them saying, hey, the DLC is this thing, and the container was actually in the game. So we can basically confirm the fact that this is also a DLC. I'm not sure, maybe it's part of the Dark Below, or maybe it's part of the House of Wolves. We'll see on December 9th when the DLC actually releases, and if it's not part of it, it's definitely part of a future DLC, because this thing has to be something. They would never make something all the way in the back of the map with higher levels if it wasn't for a reason. But anyways, that's pretty much the video for you guys today. Well, let me know what your thoughts are on stuff here in the comments down below, as well as tweet me any new information that you may find. I'd love to post some stuff on it and give you credit, of course, as well as any questions you may have. Also, send me some Twitter and comments down here. Would be much appreciated. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think of having this DLC stuff already way planned out from the beginning? That they basically just gutted the game and took out some key elements of the story just so that they can have some extra money from DLCs. So that's the one thing I don't like about the Destiny, is the fact that they just cut this out just so they can make a few extra bucks, and that's just not cool. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think the DLC is gonna be like. What are your ideas on it? What if you think the cool DLC thing looks cool, or if the cool DLC looks cool. But that even sounded worse the third time I said that. But anyways, that's been the video. If you did, leave a like down below if you did like it, and subscribe for more Destiny DLC content here on the channel. going to be posting the latest and greatest Destiny content. But anyways, I've been your host, Diachronic, and I'll see you guys on the next video.